I want to get right into something that has me very, very excited. And if you are not excited, it's just because you simply don't know enough yet. So let me alleviate that problem for you. So we hear that we're going to get a God of War style video game based off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ronin. Now,
Mouthful.
yeah, you may not know what that is, and it's too bad because it really is cool. But it's really on the darker side of things as far as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles go. So, in the comics, there is the Ronin. Vulsker, everybody knows the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, April O'Neil, who we talked a little bit about a couple shows ago, Splinter, all the cast there. But in Ronin, what is our situation here? Again, this is only a comic book series as of right now, so something that you're familiar with as well as I. But Vulsker, what's our picture looking like here in the Ronin story?
Yeah, so there is a part that I'm not too familiar with, and it's actually their side kind of tale that they're working on now, because there is kind of a sequel in the works. But basically, we're in futuristic, years down the road. I'm talking about April O'Neil type saggy skin, like barely holding up type age. New York has basically been overran by the Foot Clans, very cybernetic, kind of cyberpunk type esque
Overran by the Foot Clan. Oh man.
And as mentioned, we know TMNT to be this lighthearted, goofy, we're gonna throw some jabs while we're kicking ass type comic. But yeah, this is on a complete different level in terms of the darkness. When you're looking at the Ronin or Last Ronin, however you want to refer to it as, there's one turtle left out of the whole group. April O'Neil missing an arm. Casey Jones gone. Splinter gone. So there's next to like no team at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But to kind of put in perspective of the time jump here, Casey Jones and April's daughter is actually a crime fighter. She's out there. So it's definitely I'm talking about like 25 years like in the future compared to like what we would know now in a basic TMNT comic book. And leading through the first couple issues, they kind of leave that cliffhanger there. Which one is it? What's going on? Because the Ronin basically is a master of everybody's weapon. So you're like, wait, what the fuck's going on here? And this turtle, when you look at them, color's gone, so they don't use the color bandana. It's just dark, dingy, and it's almost like a super turtle. So you kind of get this point of like, okay, something is definitely different with this type of story here. So as you kind of go through, and I don't know how much you wanted me to dive into it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to spoil too much, I guess, but yeah.
But you kind of get some really cool aspects that the mutation wasn't what we thought it was. The mutation is as they age, they actually become almost impossible to kill. So they start becoming easier to heal from wounds, stronger, faster. So that's kind of put on the spin of, okay, well, this one barely survived. Now you can see why he can go up against robots and shit like that and get wounds, almost bleed out, and all of a sudden, a couple days later, it's like he was never going to fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very dark. It makes you feel for the one psychological, where they're sitting there battling like internal demons, talking to the weapons of the brothers. Like, it's really, really dark in that ass. Like, you're like, you feel for the survivor. Like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Like, he feels guilty. He wants to go. Like, if he's gonna go, he's gonna kick ass and go out like everybody else should have. And to kind of get from point A to point B, and I'll shut up with the details here, and we can talk about the game specifically. So a lot has happened, and it basically comes down to where there was almost a truce finally between the Foot Clan and Splinter, and that's kind of what just causes the whole fucking war. And soon be told, well, picked off, and now they run the city. I'm excited to see this play out in a 25 hour game. The only caveat I have with this, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, is they actually will not release what developer is doing it, but they have said it is a newer developer. So that is the only thing that has me worried, is if they're giving it and putting it in the hands of somebody that's not experienced with this type of game.
Yeah, I mean, it's described as a God of War type game, which makes all the sense in the world to me, because as you're describing it, we're talking about one turtle, but he's got all the weapons, all the abilities of the other Ninja Turtles, and like you said, also in this storyline, we discovered that them being mutant, they just get harder and harder and harder to kill it as they age. So, wow, that sounds like a really cool video game. I mean, that just going through as a Ninja Turtle with all those powers, God of War style, which is also a very dark storyline, so it fits all around. Ray, I'm not sure what your familiarity level with that is, but I know you were excited. You expressed excitement on Twitter. So, how do you feel about a God of War type video game starring the last Ninja Turtle, the last Ronin?
I believe that a story-driven Ninja Turtles game is probably exactly what we need. We have the side-scroll beat 'em up. We have the kid-friendly versions. We have all these things. I think a dark, gritty, revenge plot-driven story Ninja Turtles game would be perfect.
Yeah.
It would introduce a lot of new people to the franchise, and it would bring a lot of us old heads back. So either way, they're going to get the parents' money and the kids' money. It's smart. As for the developer, no, they haven't announced it, but you have to also remember is that Sony and Microsoft have both been buying up studios.
Yeah.
So if this is a newer studio and it's a big enough project with a big enough budget, they might cherry pick people from Bungie, from all these different Bethesda.
Yeah.
You don't know. It could be an all-star cast that they could have come together as a new company. Or and then have it distributed through Microsoft or Sony or whoever's going to do it. But we don't know. But I mean, hell, Square Enix could get in on it. I mean, they do story-driven.
No.
I know, but they do story-driven games. They did the shitty Avengers game, and they did the Guardians of the Shitfest game, and Suicide Squad, right? They did Suicide Squad too. Yeah, it's all awful, but I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It would just live up the standard. But I think that this one really needs to stand out.
Actually, Suicide Squad's being done by Rocksteady, who gives us the Arkham games.
Okay, well, I'll take that, because the Arkham games are masterful.
Yeah, they are the shit.
Yeah.
Keep Square Enix away from that. But I like what you're going with that. Perfect opportunity to pick some people from Santa Monica Studios who works on actual God of War. Go get Corey, I'm gonna butcher Bartlog, who actually has overseen the transformation in the original God of Wars. Boom. I would absolutely have all faith in the world.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good all the way around. Action RPG, with the RPG elements. I love those types of games. Again, like I said, God of War, but there's, Onimusha, all sorts of good shit out there. And I like and I think it's really smart for them to start with The Last Ronin, meaning just one turtle, because if they do well with this one, then they can come back with a full, 4-player online, whatever, action RPG, Ninja Turtle, where you do have all the 4 turtles. Now they've mastered the physics and the engine for the one turtle, they can come out with another game where they expand it to more characters, or at least the 4 turtles. But let me not get ahead of myself here. I'm not really what you would consider a current gen gamer. I spend my time mostly in the retro space, so it's very hard to get me excited about, a current video game release. I mean, hell, Final Fantasy 16's coming out, and I don't even care. But, hearing that they're going to have The Last Ronin, it's going to be, like an action RPG God of War style, I'm just ready to kick butt.
I do want to say one more thing, Don. Like, I don't think that this property is small enough to justify a smaller studio. It's going to have to be a big league studio, a AAA studio that's going to right. Like, it's really making the rounds on social media. People are amped for it. Like, go in the comments sections and like Facebook and whatever and read it. People are pretty amped about this. So I don't think that they're going to pass it off to Joe Blow Studios down the block. It's going to be somebody big, and it's going to make an impact. I have faith.
Yeah, I agree with you. They'd have to, because if they just give it to Joe Blow, and it blows, it's a beloved property that they'd be shitting on. You can't have that. Can't have it. Don't shit on the turtles.
I would absolutely love it if they kept some of if Rocksteady got it right, because the Arkham fighting style and the movement was incredible.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine doing that with a Ninja Turtle. Like flipping around and using the weapons and things like that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Even what is it? Oh god, brain fart. Who did the Superman or Spider-Man games for Sony?
I think that was actually Sony, wasn't it?
That's what I was about to say. I think that's actually Sony.
No, it's oh god, Ratchet and Clank developers. Who the hell? Hold on. I should know this, and I feel because they did an Xbox exclusive before they got bought out, and now I feel stupid for not.
And you don't think it's Sony?
Insomniac.
Oh, Insomniac, yeah.
Oh, aren't they okay? Aren't they basically Sony though? Or
they got bought out.
Parent company now.
But yeah, Sunset Overdrive, Spider-Man, the Ratchet and Clanks, like they could easily do something like that, because they didn't say what systems it was necessarily going to be for, so that leaves the door open to being an exclusive. Somebody wants to throw some money, which can also then help fund a more experienced, larger team too.
I dig it. I can't wait. It's actually a new video game that I am looking forward to, so that gets me excited, because that just doesn't happen very often. But I think it's going to be fun. And as long as they make sure and do it right. And I think they will. It's too big of a property to fuck up. It's just,
There's a lot of money to be made with that name alone. Look at Shredder's Revenge, like we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Or was it the week before, Don? I can't remember. Might have been last week.
No, it was last week. The Toxic Crusader.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talked about the success of Shredder's Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And, bringing the Turtles' name is value. It's money. People are going to buy it. They trust it. Why not? How many bad Turtles games have there been? I mean, 3 total in a 30-year history?
If you count
35-year history?
If you count the tournament fighters, which I didn't hate those games.
They weren't. They weren't that bad.
They were broken and clunky. Like the controls were bad for them.
I know, but it was Ninja Turtles, so you're like, fuck it.
I know. Be Super
The first
Shredder.
one was the 360 TMNT tie-in, if anything.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna say the original NES version. That was pretty terrible. Where you could only really beat Donatello if you actually wanted to beat the game.
Yeah.
Fucking games.
Those were the good old days, though. Yeah, Electric Seaweed and...
There's your next speedrun game, D.
Yeah. I don't know. My card capture don't work anymore. I gotta get a new one. Because I was actually...
killed your Elgato?
I guess so, yeah. I don't know. It's not working. I maybe I need a software update or something. But yeah, I was gonna try my best to record just beating Mega Man X. Not necessarily speed run, but I just wanted to like beat it with no unforced upgrades. But anyway.
I tell you what, Don, I got a challenge for you real quick.
What's that?
It's not a speed run. If you can beat one level, just one level of the Silver Surfer, I will cash app you $25.
Okay. Challenge
There it is.
accepted.
Silver Surfer NES. Godspeed,
Okay.
sir.
I'll just emulate it, so I won't even need a capture card. So
No turbo button. It's got to be legit.
no, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use turbo buttons. I've never thought that was sportsmanlike. You should see my Mega Man X rapid shots. Develop thumb muscles. All right, so very excited about Ronin, the video game. We haven't got an official release date for that or any release trailer, nothing like
a couple
that.
years away.
Yeah, so we're just really geeking over the idea. It's a great idea. It should be a great game.